This is the last video of Chapter 3. It's from the concluding section of the chapter. It contains the most extensive figure in the book, and is yet the least essential. It was included more for fun than for learning. It's a thought experiment, an attempt at the impossible trip through Hume's guillotine, demonstrating the limits of science compared to art. Art cheats when passing back through the guillotine, carrying with it the same moral assumptions it brought from the original side. Science can't do the same because it starts on the other side, and can't make moral assumptions without losing its status of being called science. The DIKW pyramid is more ideal for science than my DIMP model. The top view is where figure 42 starts, simply named the experiment. Discovering wise prescriptions is the goal. The information layer is the base layer for figure 42b, an epistemological box filled with various components of a hypothesis. Most parts of 42a translate to the box. After extracting all the relevant data, you can begin to build thorough knowledge. Trivial knowledge by definition is irrelevant. That leaves the wisdom of wise prescriptions to account for. Wise prescriptions don't fit in that box, and that's the problem. Wise prescriptions are in reference to goals, morals, not some universal fact. Taking another approach, you can start with the universal fact. The closest thing I have to a useful, somewhat universal, fact is my meaning of life from Chapter 2. It's two things, buying time and killing time. Both things are interdependent, but that's not relevant to the experiment. What is relevant is how they relate to each other and what facts can be extracted from that relationship. Is killing time a subset of buying time? Not exactly. The same could be said for vice versa. They can be examined as completely separate, but there is some overlap between the two. What else is in that overlap? There's two hybrid forms in the overlap that make up 204 possible combinations of how killing time and buying time relate to each other. The next step is understanding how the combinations relate to each other and what can be learned from those relationships. Using a quadrant, one arrangement might not yield as much critical information as another. Even rotating a quadrant 45 degrees changes the way the relationships are read in right-angled axis labels. In this case, the vertical axis represents productivity. The horizontal axis is similar to what I call the golden contrast, which is why I chose it. This doesn't get us any closer to a scientific path through Hume's guillotine. It's just a four-way crossroad. Adding a third dimension might give us new perspective. In this case, options are all related to quantity of time. So what would the bottom, quality of time, options look like? How you spend time and what you try to gain are questions of quality. There's four broad yet distinct categories that cover a broad range of activity and achievement. Using the same 45-degree rotation, the vertical axis is relevant to hard and soft power, but it's also relevant to behavior and negotiations, which is how I use it. I use the same horizontal axis to provide consistency with the rotation of the top of the cube. This completes the third dimension of the cube with quality of resources at the other end of the spectrum. But all it really has done is expanded the options of where my time is best used to a fuzzy analog of infinite degrees in the spectrum of the cube. And that's just one approach to expanding the options. Each option in this case is an intersection, which goes back to figure 1b. Taking a subset approach like figure 1d would yield something similar to figure 26a with 15 crisp options, but still no closer to narrowing down which option is best using a scientific method. That's because science can only help achieve goals, but can't choose goals for you. That's figure 42 and all its parts. It's a failed experiment unless the hypothesis was that science can't solve the Aesop problem. In that case, it would only yield a little more evidence towards proving that science can't. But it wouldn't falsify anything, so it wouldn't be much of a science experiment at all. Chapter 4 picks up on the prescriptive side of Hume's guillotine and explores the dynamics of science and art from that side. I hope you are looking forward to it. Please leave critical and constructive feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching.